It's Wednesday, May 31st, 2023 at 2:30 in the afternoon, and I'm aboard my Allied Princess 36 Sequester today, just doing a little bit of tidying up. I came over hoping to maybe get the mizzen sail on since there was no wind at all at home, but it's blowing over here. Only 5 miles away, but the way the hills are makes a big difference. So anyway, instead I pulled out the propane tank and weighed it to see if it needs to be refilled. I still got 2 years on this tank, and it's about half full, so no rush to go and refill it. I can do it during the season if it becomes an issue. But I did notice that the O-ring on the fitting for the propane tank was in really poor shape, so ran into the hardware store and got a new one. It was expensive, 45 cents, but that's the way it goes when you have a boat. Bring out another 1,000. Well, in this case, it was 100 cents that I gave them, and they gave me some change. So anyway, that was an easy repair, and that wasn't really leaking, but I knew it would if I didn't replace that O-ring, and it was worth it for the small amount of money. So anyway, the boat is doing pretty well. I also tied off the main and Genoa halyards, so they're a little quieter. It's blowing hard enough that every now and then the Genoa halyard does slap against the mast, and that's just the way it goes. So what I want to do today is just talk a little bit about some of my ideas for videos this summer. Now, I can't film in Acadia National Park without getting a permit, and there's a $100 application fee for the permit, and you have to specify in your permit application where you're going to film and what time of day and what day you're going to do the filming on. So there's about a 2-week processing time for the permit. So even if I felt it was justified to pay $100 for a filming permit, I'd be at the mercy of the weather for when I actually film, because as I said, you have to specify the location or locations you're going to film in and when, right down to the hour when you're going to film. So I don't know what the weather's going to be like in 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks, so you're really taking a chance. Now, I do intend to talk to the National Park Service and see if it's possible, since I live here, and explain what sort of filming I'd like to do, which is basically just walking some of the trails and going to a few scenic overlooks and filming pretty much as I can when there are not a lot of other people there. Because a big thing that I've always done in the past is try to keep other people out of my videos. So that means going at oddball times and that sort of thing. But I've been here long enough that I know pretty much when I can go to a trail and not find too many people there, and be able to film during my walk on the trail and not include any other people. So I'll have to talk to the Park Service and see if it's possible to get a permit with a longer duration. Say, pay the $100 fee for a permit that's good for July or August, or maybe even July and August. Just have to call them up and talk to them. Maybe it's a possibility. Maybe I'm limited to just 1 or 2 days. Anyway, that's the way it goes, and see if that's going to happen. One of my viewers a few weeks ago suggested that maybe we could try to raise some money to pay for a permit so that I can go into the park and film. But unless I can get a permit that spans, say, at least a week or maybe 2 weeks, it probably isn't worthwhile, because I don't want to go to Sand Beach in the middle of a driving rainstorm to film, and I don't want to walk a lot of the trails if the weather is terrible. So on the day that I specified I'd be walking it. So what I'd like to do is contact the park and see if they can tell me, if it's possible to get a permit that spans a wider block of time and doesn't constrain me as to where I have to be at a particular time. If I can do that, and maybe we can raise a little money to pay for a permit, I'll probably look into doing it. So that's one thing. Another thing that I've been thinking about, in previous years, I've gone around to the various sort of takeout food places that sell lobster rolls, and I have looked at the price. So what I was thinking I would do this year is I would go to the various takeout places, and there are, there are at least 4 or 5 of them here in Southwest Harbor and over in Bass Harbor and Bernard, and buy a lobster roll and review it. Basically, eat the lobster roll and give you my impressions of it. Is it a good lobster roll? Are they stingy with the meat? Is there a lot of claw meat, or is it tail meat? That sort of thing. And basically just review the lobster rolls from different places in this area. And I'm not talking about restaurants where I have to go in and sit down, because I don't want to try and film me eating a lobster roll at a table inside a restaurant. But if I can go get one takeout, I can then go back to a picnic table and film the lobster roll and talk about it a little bit and see how it goes. So I basically, before I commit to doing that, because I'm expecting that lobster rolls are probably going to be in the $20 a piece range. I don't want to go and buy a couple $100 worth of lobster rolls if people aren't interested in seeing the reviews. So if you think that that's a good idea, comment on this video and tell me. And if enough people say, yeah, that sounds cool, I will go out, buy myself some lobster rolls, and force myself to eat them. I'll probably do a video on each place that I go to get the lobster rolls, and we'll talk about things in addition to the lobster rolls, parking, the rest of the menu, that sort of thing. But the focus of the videos will be on those Maine lobster rolls, and hopefully it will be popular. As I said, I'll choke the things down. Here in Maine, lobster used to be considered food for the poor, and so I don't want to be eating too much poor man's food. Anyway, that's kind of what I've been thinking about for a couple things this year. Again, seeing if I can get a permit to film in the park that over a longer period of time and without constraints as to exactly when I have to be at each location that I film at, and also find out from you if there is enough interest in the infamous or famous Maine lobster roll for me to subject myself to the horror of eating half a dozen different lobster rolls from different restaurants. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say today. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this little video interesting, and please post your comments on the topics that I mentioned. Thanks for watching.